Hi everyone, welcome to another Python tutorial. In this tutorial, we are going to talk about list comprehension. So first, what is a list comprehension? List comprehension allows a shorthand syntax when one needs to create a list from another existing list. And again, I think the best way to understand it is through examples. So let's say I have an example number 1. Where I'm creating a list underscore 1. Inside this list, I have 3 elements. Each of them is a string with all lowercase. And let's say if I want to create another list from this list underscore 1, but this new list will have all the letters capitalized. What I can do is I can leverage the for loop. So for example, I'm going to first initialize a list underscore 1 underscore cap, which is short for capitalization. I'm going to create this empty list and I'm going to loop through list underscore 1, and within each loop I'm going to append a new element to this list underscore 1 underscore cap, and then this element will be the element in the current iteration with a upper methods at the end. So if we do that and check the values of list underscore 1 underscore cap, we can see that we just create a new list with all the letters capitalized. Well, instead of writing these 3 lines of code, we can use list comprehension and only type 1 line of code. So over here, I'm creating a new list. The name is list underscore 1 underscore cap underscore list comprehension. And the syntax is just, I want each element of this new list to be i.upper, but I is the element inside list underscore 1. So that's how you should read this syntax. And sure enough, we get the same result where this new list has 3 elements. Each of them is coming from the existing list underscore 1, but all the letters are capitalized. Now let's talk about example number 2, where I want to add 1 to the integers. So what does that mean? Let's say I create a list underscore 2. Inside this list I have 5 elements, and then each element is an integer. I'm just randomly creating some integers: 1, 8, minus 4, 3, 9. And what I want to do is I want to add 1 to each of the elements. How can I do that? Again, I can leverage the for loops again. I'm going to initialize a list underscore 2 underscore add underscore 1. I'm going to initialize this list, and then through this for loop within each iteration, I'm going to append a new element. This new element will be the existing element inside list underscore 2 plus 1. So after we execute the code, you can see that this new list underscore 2 underscore add 1 becomes 2, 9, minus 3, 4, 10, which are just simply the original list adding 1 to each of the elements. But instead of writing these 3 lines of code, we can again combine everything into a single line. So I'm creating another list with list comprehension appending at the end of the name. And then inside this square bracket, I'm first going to type I plus 1 for I in list underscore 2. So it means that each new element inside this new list will be the existing element in list underscore 2 plus 1. So that's how you should read this syntax. And sure enough, we will get the same result. Now let's have another example number 3. In this example, I'm creating a list underscore 3, and then inside this list, again, we are having all the integers, and I'm randomly choosing some integers. It could be positive, it could be negative, or it could be 0. And what I want to do is create another list where only the even number inside this list underscore 3 will be extracted. Okay, so what I can do again is leverage the for loops. I'm going to create or I'm going to initialize a new list which I call list underscore 3 underscore even. This will be an empty list. And then I'm going to loop through the original list underscore 3. Inside each iteration, if the values divided by 2 and the remainder is 0, then I'm going to append these elements into this list underscore 3 underscore even. If it is not, then I'm not going to do anything. So after the execution of the code, you can see that only the even number get extracted from the original list. And again, we can use a list comprehension to condense these 4 lines of code into just one line. So it will be I for I in list underscore 3 if I divided by 2 has a remainder of 0. And you will see that we will get the same result. Now let's work on example number 4. So in example number 4, I'm actually going to create a list of lists. What I mean by that is list underscore 4 is a list, but its element is also a list. So it has 4 elements, and then inside each element is still a list. What I want to do is flatten this list of lists into a single dimension. So how can I do that? I can leverage again the for loops, but this time I need the nested loop because I'm going to loop first through each element inside this list underscore 4. That will be our outer loop. And then once we got each element, we will also need to loop through each element inside this inner list. So that will be our inner loop for I in list underscore 4 and then for j in I. And then after that, I can start appending this j, this dummy variable j, into list underscore 4 underscore flatten. That way, instead of having a list of lists, everything will just be one list, and it will be only one dimension. And again, we can leverage the list comprehension even though we are working on the nested loop. So the syntax is very similar. We want the dummy variable j to be the new element of this new list, but in order to get j, we need to loop through list underscore 4 first, and then with a dummy variable I. And then for the second for loop, we are going to loop through I with dummy variable j. And then we will get the same result. Now let's work on the last example, which is we can also use enumerate inside our list comprehension. We briefly talked about what enumerate is in my last tutorial, so if you need a quick review, you can go to the video. But basically, I'm going to create a new list which I call list underscore 5. It has some random integers, and I'm going to create a new list which I call list underscore 5 underscore enumerate. And I'm going to use enumerate in my for loop, where I will not only extract individual elements, I also have access of the index of each element. And then I'm going to append the summation of index to each element inside this new list. And here is the result. So basically, the first element which has index 0, we are adding 0 to this value 1. Therefore, we still get 1. And then on this element of 4, which has index of 1, we are adding 1 to 4. That's why we are having this 5. And then this element of 3 has an index of 2. When we add 2 to 3, we will get 5. And these values of 8 has an index of 3. And when we add 3 and 8 together, we will get 11. And then finally, we will get 9. So you can also have enumerate inside your list comprehension. Basically, you will just say, okay, I want my new list to be I plus index. But I and index are extract from this for loop in enumerate list underscore 5. and then you'll see that we get the same result. So I'm creating these 5 different examples. Hopefully they help you understand how you can use list comprehension as a shorthand syntax when you want to create another list from existing list. Okay, if you think this video is helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video.